On July 10th, HBO Max and AT&T announced a new Gotham PD series as a companion to the upcoming film The Batman by Matt Reeves. The series is being developed by Vinyl and Boardwalk Empire creator Terrence Winter. This announcement was seen to be a surprise, as there already has been a series about the Gotham Police Department, which recently ended a year ago on Fox. So what could this mean? We put the question of what this motivation could be to regular Midnight's Edge contributor and resident Hollywood and filmmaking expert to Scriptdoctor, who helped to shed some light on this topic. In this video, we will briefly discuss the concept of this new show, why HBO Max decided the time would be right to explore this territory again, and the marketing model a series like this which will have with its companion films. As Variety reported, HBO Max is committed to produce a drama set in the world created for Matt Reeves' The Batman. According to Variety, it is said to build on the film's examination of the anatomy of corruption in Gotham City, specifically the Gotham Police Department. Many Batman and DC fans may find this concept already familiar, as Bruno Heller created a similar series in 2014 for Fox named Gotham that ran for 5 seasons. While Gotham was a prequel to Batman, this new series appears to be marketed as a companion piece to Matt Reeves' The Batman film and any potential new DC Universe films. With those differences, one would have to ask what this new show could look like. The operative question would then be, will Jeffrey Wright reprise his role as Commissioner James Gordon on this new series? Wright, as we know, is not averse to long-form television, having appeared in the HBO series Westworld. Batman is by far a bigger franchise than Westworld. If it's in the cards to bring Wright into this show, that could potentially be a good move on their part. The press release states it will target police corruption. With the rich history of characters within the Gotham PD, one would not be remiss to ask if that would give us stories featuring characters like Detective John Flass, Harvey Bullock, Renee Montoya, and Sarah Essen. We will know for certain as more information is revealed. However, it would come as no surprise to start seeing some of those names surface, if not as the main cast, but as guest characters for a new set of players that this series may revolve around. However, an important question to ask is, why would HBO Max commit to this series when The Batman has not yet been received by audiences? Rumors have swirled that AT&T has reservations about The Batman. Actor Robert Pattinson hasn't done much himself to dissuade any doubts regarding his casting and his attitude towards the role, as exemplified by his interview in GQ. And at the time of this recording, the film hasn't officially returned to production. So why go all in on such an untested concept? It would have to be that either the script is amazing or another reason. On the surface, this seems like a pragmatic maneuver to amortize potentially lost production costs from the global pandemic shutdown by rolling it into a new television series where props, costumes, and vehicles can be reused. Movie-going audiences may never ask themselves walking out of the theater exactly what happens to all those sets and props from their favorite movies. The answer may sadden many, as many of those items are either destroyed, put in storage where they will never be used again, or sold off at auction decades later, but only if a movie was successful. These only pertain to items specifically made for the production. For many years, Hollywood has rented or commissioned items from a company called Modern Props, a major maker of props across many genres. That one sci-fi machine with the twin tubes and glowing lights inside that doesn't appear to do anything? It was made by Modern Props and has been used in over 100 productions since its creation.
Never, sir. Well, it's impossible. It must have some sort of function. I mean, why would the government put all that money into a thing with red lights that keep going back and forth? Doesn't make any sense. Keep working on it.
After 42 years in business, Modern Props announced in January of 2020 that they were closing their doors and selling their excess props. The closure of Modern Props would give more incentive for Warner Brothers to reuse and recycle anything made in-house for future projects, a practice employed by many film productions, the most notable example being Star Trek, which reused many props across film and television before being sold at auction in 2006. Creating a show like Gotham PD for Warner Brothers, AT&T, and HBO Max allows them to recycle much of what they built for the movie into new product they can repackage and sell back to studios. Costumes like police uniforms, props, and vehicles like squad cars can be saved, transported, and used for a new project, allowing them to monetize those items over the course of years with a long-form series instead of once through a feature film. There's also the added bonus of brand continuity between the movie and a television series. This is essentially a hand-me-down model on the production side. Ordinarily, sets won't be saved, as the cost to take apart and transporting them to a new filming location only to reassemble them elsewhere is greater than destroying and rebuilding them on site. This is only to reduce costs in production. However, as the saying goes, money saved is money earned, especially in Hollywood. When looking at a spreadsheet, this could seem like a lucrative option. It also allows for a contingency. In the event that The Batman isn't received well, there is a potential that the HBO Max series could be a hit, and give the film a second chance to right the ship, as it were. However, if the movie is good, then they also have a built-in solid audience for a television series. Only in the event that if the movie and the show are bad, will AT&T and HBO Max become concerned. Unlike Fox's Gotham, the intention behind this new Gotham PD series is to launch a cross-platform franchise for DC-branded films. This model may be familiar to those who are fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and have watched Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the canceled Agent Carter on ABC. The idea is simple: have a television show in the same universe as the films in a serialized format to give fans more from that universe, and also keep the franchise in the conversation between tentpole films. Before the pandemic, Marvel would average 2 to 3 movies a year, dominating the summer. Then they would have their companion show premiere in the fall, keeping those fans on the treadmill to the end of spring, where the series can tie into their summer releases. Essentially, the Marvel machine would be running and hopefully dominating the entire year, meaning they'd always be in the conversation among fans and the trades, which is free advertising. As a bonus, they'd be making money off these shows through commercials and licensing agreements. With studios now expanding into the streaming market, this removes the advertisers from the equation on how a series can be developed, and would allow a more direct market to the audience through a monthly subscription. Marvel is currently doing this with Disney Plus, as they have WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier on the docket. AT&T and HBO Max have seen how this can work, based on what Marvel and Disney did with ABC and Disney Plus, and are adapting that model for their own streaming service to retain audiences. HBO Max isn't just resting this model on The Batman. For those who may be unaware, HBO Max announced Dune: The Sisterhood in 2019. They've been thinking about this model for some time, and as mentioned earlier, see the potential of stretching out the dollar value of production by developing a companion series that can reuse much of what was created. What do you think of this new development for franchises? Let us know in the comments.